Tanzania marks World AIDS Day. HIV infection rates declined from 7 to 4%. Former members of Bawacha to appeal against their removal in Chadema's Executive Council. And in sports, Tanzania Football Federation to organize a Media Bonanza Day on December 6. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. Let's get started with the national news. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has said the number of men testing their HIV status following a national campaign has gone up significantly, with infection rates showing a decline of 7 to 4%. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa made the statement at the climax of World AIDS Day, held nationally in Moshi Municipal in Kilimanjaro region.
Licha ya juhudi na hatua mbalimbali zinazochukuliwa katika kujikinga na maambukizi ya VVU.
Despite various efforts towards protection against VVU, still how to protect oneself and protect others, as well as discrimination, has continued to be a challenge in our communities. There were more men compared to women, and even today we've seen more men have been tested. 632 people have been tested for diabetes, 638 for blood pressure, and 360 for TB.
HIV prevention among adolescents and youth to support the government's efforts for the development of the national. I also wish to thank our generous development partners for their financial and other support, which enable our efforts and our results.
As countries around the world commemorate World AIDS Day, Tanzania Commission for AIDS has said that youth are the leading group with high HIV infection and that more needs to be done to ensure they do not engage in risk behaviors which contribute to the rising rate of infections.
Maambukizi sasa kwa vijana na hasa kwa watoto wa kike. Maambukizi kwa kweli ukiangalia kweli ni makubwa na yapo.
Infection in young people, especially girls, is high. Ask for people to be educated at all levels on how they can protect themselves. People's views of AIDS has shifted, not like it was in early days.
The former chairperson of the women wing of Chadema party, Bawacha Halima Abde, and 18 others former members who were recently sworn in as special seats members of the parliament have admitted to receive a letter notifying them of their removal, but said that they will now appeal against the decision within 30 days in the Executive Council, as they still want to remain as members of the party.
Mchakato wetu wa rufaa kwa ngazi za juu tutaanza kutafakari.
In this regard, the appeal process to high authority we will deliberate on together with our lawyers so we can see the best way to resolve this matter. We love our party and respect it, and we will continue to be its members.
The Food and Drugs Authority in Zanzibar has destroyed 112 tons of rice unfit for human consumption, which was found in a warehouse of a businessman who was in the process of changing the expiry date of the rice on the new bags.
In addition to rice, there was also spaghetti, which most had expired in June 2020. Some new packaging expiry date was extended to January 2022. After confiscating the item, we take details from packaging such as the brand, date and batch number, after which we conduct a post-market surveillance to remove the product from the market.
Residents from Namlangwa village in Kalambo district, Rukwa region have urged the government to provide them with education on how to construct better houses in order to avoid frequent destruction of houses caused by heavy rains. The call comes after 16 houses were destroyed by heavy rains, which has made several people homeless.
Nyumba tunazojenga sio bora.
Our houses are not strong, which makes them vulnerable during strong winds and rain.
Hivi tuna kikao kwa ajili ya kujua.
We are having a meeting to discuss on how we are going to help them.
Kwa ngazi ya wilaya
kuendelea kuwapa elimu wananchi wote kwamba
it is important that people are trained on how to build affordable but strong homes.
The police force in Njombe region has seized iron pieces removed from the Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority to Zara Rail infrastructure at Makambako station after arresting a businessman found with the iron pieces.
Kuna operation ambayo imefanyika hapa kwetu mkoani Njombe, eneo la Makambako.
There is an operation that was conducted here in Njombe, and what was discovered were Zara rail parts. The suspect is under arrest. He has permit to deal with scrap metal, but what you see here belongs to Tazara. Strict measures will be taken against anyone who sabotages these projects.
With 30 days remaining until the official ban of substandard plastic packaging materials comes into effect, the National Environment Management Council has warned that those who violate the ban will face stern legal action.
NEMC and TBS have no intention of jeopardizing businesses. We all know that it is through trade that the government gets revenue.
Sisi kama jumuiya ya wafanyabiashara Tanzania hatujashirikishwa kwenye hili ambapo ndio tuna wadau wengi hao.
A lot of people who order packaging have met standards and therefore have no side effects, yet it is not allowed. It will be better when the government makes a decision to reach all intended, even those in grassroots.
Kwa muda ambao umewekwa mpaka kumaliza.
We will work with those in need of goods certification.
And that is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break. And in international news, the United Nations has sounded the alarm over severe effects of food shortage on the nearly 100,000 refugees sheltering in camps in Ethiopia's restive Tigray region. Wednesday marks a month since Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced the military operation against forces loyal to the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Communication and transport links to Tigray have since been severed, and the UN humanitarian agencies have pleaded for access to deliver badly needed food, medicine, and other supplies. 3 days into the collection of 1 million signatures to set off the referendum process, Deputy President William Ruto has changed stance and given the bill a green light, showing indications of closing a difference between Deputy President Ruto and proponents of the Building Bridges Initiative report.
Amesema kuna watu hapa wanapinga katiba. Sijui kama kuna watu wanapinga katiba hapa.
I don't know if there is anyone opposing the Constitution. We want everyone to agree. Let us not push someone because he has a different opinion. We've seen the effects of division. There are people in politics and even in PBI who want to divide people.
We need to come together.
Nasema ya kwamba wale ambao wanajaribu kuchimbua makaburi, nilisoma kwa gazeti juzi.
This is what I'm saying. Those who want to dig up graves, this is not a joke and I cannot allow it. We've left that behind and all has been buried to be forgotten.
Zika katika kaburi ya sahau.
And that is the end of international news. Business comes next after the break.
What Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production. Infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
And in business news, the National Bureau of Statistics has released the preliminary 2019-2020 agriculture, livestock and fisheries census, which shows that 24.7% of national revenue comes from agriculture exports.
Sekta hii ni chanzo kikuu cha chakula kwa 100% duniani kote.
This sector is 100% source of food in the world, and in Africa, and more so in sub-Saharan Africa. This agricultural sector has continued to provide food by 100%. Some have been asking me about the shortage in farm implements, but as you all know, as production increases, the requirement on farm implements also does increase. So this issue is progressive. With more production, then there should be more implements.
The government, through the Ministry of Industry and Trade, has been urged to ensure entrepreneurs who produce various products for export label them with Made in Tanzania in order to promote the country and attract investors.
Pia naomba katika sheria ya viwanda na biashara,
I'm asking that in trade and industry laws to make sure that every product must have a Made in Tanzania label.
Product za mbao.
Tunahitajika kuweka chapa za Tanzania na kutangaza nchi kwa.
There is a need to put a Tanzanian label so that we promote our country internationally.
The Ministry of Water has directed all industries in the country to register with the system enabled to prevent water loss before February 2021, as failure to do so will lead to legal actions.
Mnatumia maji sawa. Ili maji yaendelee kuwepo, lazima mlipe ada ya matumizi ya maji.
You use water, and for you to keep having it, you must pay a certain amount which is invested back in the project in initiatives such as tree planting.
Entrepreneurs from more than 50 companies in the country are expected to visit Dubai for training on modern technology and also to look for business opportunities which will benefit them and strengthen economic relations between the two countries.
Kuna Dubai sasa hivi wanahitaji.
Dubai requires grain, meat, almost everything because it is a desert and everything is imported. So this is a rare opportunity.
Na tumekuwa tukiangalia ni kwa jinsi gani
We were looking when we will recover from COVID-19 because international trade has been impacted. We were supposed to have traveled on December 8th, but a lot of stakeholders had requested to move it forward.
And that is the end of business news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. position, Joaquinho. He did lose to Lendl.
And in sports, the Football Federation TFF has organized a media bonanza day scheduled to take place on December 6th at the Leaders Club grounds in Dar es Salaam.
Tunafanya vitu vingi, nyinyi wenyewe ni mashahidi.
We've done a lot of things and you are witnesses, especially since the new regime under Karia came into power. For all of this to be known to the Tanzanian public, as well as the world at large, the press is essential. So we asked ourselves, is there anything we can do to help us meet in those circumstances, or anything to pay you? No, we don't. But we can only meet in a bonanza.
The Goba Hill Marathon's second season will take place on 3rd of January next year, whereby funds raised will be used for the construction of a women's ward at Goba Dispensary.
After failing to complete our aim this year, we thought finishing the construction of the ward at Goba Dispensary will be important. But after that, we will also move to other areas, because our plan is to go to every dispensary in Dar es Salaam, and later out of the region.
Lewis Hamilton will miss this weekend's Sakir Grand Prix in Bahrain after testing positive for coronavirus. Here's the story.
Seven-time Formula One world champion is in isolation after his positive result was announced today. And a Formula One statement said the FIA, Formula One and Mercedes team can today confirm that during mandatory pre-race PRC testing for the Sakir Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton has tested positive for COVID-19. In accordance with COVID-19 protocols, he is now in isolating. All contacts have been declared. The procedures set out by the FIA and Formula One will ensure no wider impact on this weekend's event. Hamilton's Mercedes team said Hamilton reported mild symptoms on the morning following Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix, where he claimed his 11th win of the season.
Newcastle's Premier League game at Aston Villa's on Friday is in danger of postponement after Steve Bruce's entire first-team squad were asked for self-isolation on Monday amid the growing of COVID-19 outbreak at the North East club. Here are more to the details.
The training ground will not reopen until Wednesday at the earliest, after a specially ordered set of coronavirus tests on Sunday revealed a significant number of players and staff had recorded positive results. Bruce cancelled a planned training session on Sunday morning and ordered a deep clean of Newcastle's weekday base when it became clear 4 players and 1 member of his backroom team had tested positive. As a precaution, everyone in the first-team bubble was retested, but the amount of positive results caused sufficient alarm to result in a blanket self-isolation order. Should as many well happen, Newcastle asked for the Villa game to be postponed. It will be the first Premier League fixture delayed on such grounds since the initial resumption of top-tier games in June.
The Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson has called for the automatic replacement of players who are involved in a clash of heads after Raul Jimenez sustained a fractured skull in a collision with David Luiz in Wolves' win at Arsenal on Sunday. Here are more to the details.
Jimenez was taken to hospital where he had surgery immediately after the 15th-minute incident, but David Luiz played on until halftime before being substituted. In September 2017, Ederson needed 8 stitches in his face after a high challenge from Sadio Mane led to his being taken off on a stretcher during City's 5-0 home win against Liverpool. Pep Guardiola, Ederson's manager, said hopefully Jimenez and David Luiz are well.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. Thank you for watching and good night.
Tanzania is one of the world's leading tourist attractions. Following the outbreak of COVID-19, international travel was affected, and with it, tourism in many parts of the world. Thankfully, as of June 2020, Tanzania is ready to receive you and show you its natural wonders, giving you an unforgettable experience.
I'm happy to inform you that Tanzania has reopened its skies and is ready to welcome and share its wonders with you. Since your safety and the health and that of our people is of utmost importance, the government of the United Republic of Tanzania has put in place various standard operating procedures for various areas and services that you will come into contact with during your stay, as to minimize the risk of coronavirus infections and ensure that your visit is truly unforgettable.
To facilitate safe passenger operations upon arrival and departure, there are health facilitation measures to be complied with by all airport users, including passengers, aircraft operators, and ground handlers, among others, at all our international and local airports, which include use of protective equipment such as masks and gloves for all airport users, hand sanitizing, physical distancing, body temperature screening.
I'm very happy to be here. It was a very seamless, easy process getting through. I was happy to see that they did check and make sure that I was healthy, so that they're making sure that everybody here is healthy.
Disinfection is conducted regularly at all passenger terminals and in the aircraft. There is nothing like